You will never guess the ending of this movie. 1 second you were sure of the truth. The next second was immediately overturned. Jack is the owner of a technology company. Like some successful men, there's a woman in the house. There's a woman outside. Every now and then, he goes out with his mistress, Jenny. Over time, someone found out the secret. So they took the opportunity to extort 100,000 euros. They were asked to come to a remote hotel. The two of them waited for half a day, but no news. Jack realized that it might be a trap. He was about to take Jenny and leave, but he was attacked from behind. When he woke up, he found Jenny dead. Outside, the police broke down the door. They found the door unlocked. The windows and air vents were sealed. Jack is thus considered a murderer. To clear his name, Jack hired Annie, a gold medal lawyer. Annie arrived at the hotel 3 hours early. She told Jack that the court had found a witness. If Jack's testimony was overturned, then it meant that he would spend the rest of his life. He could spend the rest of his life in jail. Annie hit the timer. He only gave Jack 3 hours to tell him all the details of the case. Jack hesitated for a moment. Looking at the pictures of his wife and son, he lapsed into memories. 3 months ago, after Jack's intimate encounter with Jenny, in order to get back in time, he chose a small road. On the way, he had an argument with Jenny. He wanted to end the relationship and return to his family, but Jenny wanted to maintain the status quo. During the argument, he crashed the car coming from the opposite direction. Jenny got out of the car to check the situation. The boy in the car was already out of breath. Jack wanted to call the police, but was stopped by Jenny. If you call the police now, then the affair will not be able to hide. After discussing the situation and finding no one around, so he went back to the car and tried to escape, but the car could not be turned on. At that moment, another car came from afar. Jenny immediately thought of a plan. She took out paper and a pen, pretended that 2 people were involved in a traffic accident and ready to deal with. When the driver passing by stopped and asked if they needed help, just as the boy's cell phone suddenly rang, Jenny went back to the car and hung up the phone and pretended that it was the insurance company's call. Then she put the phone in her pocket. The driver just took a long, meaningful look and then drove away. Now that there was a witness, the 2 men had to find another way. After discussion, they decided to deal with the person and the car together in order not to reveal the affair of the man. After hitting the man, he wanted to destroy the body. The 2 men stuffed the boy into the trunk. Then Jack drove the boy's car to the lake, with the car to push together into the lake, and Jenny stayed in the car to wait for help. Soon the uncle who passed by found him. Jenny said just hit a deer accidentally. The car was in a bit of trouble. The uncle said the car can be towed home for repair. So Jenny came to the uncle's house. The couple received the guest kindly, but what Jenny never expected was, the boy who died in the accident was actually the uncle's son. A chill came out from the bottom of her heart. Find an excuse and ready to run away. But something even worse happened. The aunt could not contact the boy and dialed the boy's phone, and the boy's cell phone was held by Jenny. The phone in her pocket suddenly rang. She hurriedly shoved the phone to the sofa. The 2 of them were confused for a while. Jenny excused herself to be in a hurry. She got in the car and adjusted the seat and left. The older man saw that Jenny was not right, so he silently wrote down the license plate number. The 2 of them reunited and discussed countermeasures. Jack decided to get rid of the car. Then he reported the car stolen to the police. I thought it would be over, but the police still found Jack. It turns out that the couple could not contact the boy. Finally found the police for help. The police quickly found the scene of the accident. The uncle met Jenny again at the scene of the accident. He felt that the boy's death was not so simple, so he gave the police a clue. The police found Jack through the license plate number, and Jack sighed because the company is about to go public, so he asked his subordinates to help him get an alibi. Just when Jack thought everything was settled, suddenly saw the TV news. The boy tried to embezzle the public money and absconded. It turns out that when Jenny was handling the scene, Jenny had taken the boy's ID by hand. The boy's embezzlement was faked. That's when he received another letter. It contained a photo that looked very much like the place where the body was dumped, so the 2 came to the hotel as promised. Then the first scene happened. After listening to Jack's description, Annie said that if Jack's story was true, then the man who came in and knocked Jack out, the one who killed Jenny, must be the the boy's father, because he had a motive to do it. But Annie addressed the sense of vulnerability of Jack's story, so a new story was reworked. Annie pulled out a newspaper, the official news on the day of Jack's arrest. In the photo, Jack found the older woman's figure. It turned out that the older woman was an employee of the hotel. Annie fleshed out more details. Uncle ambushed in the room beforehand, using text messages to attract the attention of the two. Finally sneak attack Jack from behind, then kill Jenny, and then use the key provided by the aunt to open the window to escape. Then when the police were not paying attention, they locked the window again. This faked a secret room murder case. After seeing the clues of Jenny's murder, Jack gradually lowered his guard. But then Annie suggested that, although he was cleared of the murder of Jenny, but the car accident case is still unsolved. If Jack wanted to get out of this, Jack had to put all the blame on Jenny. Just put Jenny's personal belongings in the car where the body was dumped. Then Jack would only be guilty of one count of harboring at most. So Jack told him where the body was dumped. But the next sentence made Annie furious. You can never imagine. The lawyer who helped a man get away with murder was the victim's mother. Jack looked at the evidence Annie made up for herself with a smile of victory. So he told Annie a secret. Annie looked incredulous, cursing at Jack. After a bit of an argument, Annie deduced the truth. It turns out that the murderer of both cases is Jack. He was the one who didn't let the mistress call the police. He was the one who chose to dump the body. He was the one who faked the boy's embezzlement of public money. He was also the one who killed the mistress in the hotel. It turns out that after the car accident, Jenny, she suffered from anxiety due to psychological stress. Every day she suffered from conscience condemnation in order to compensate the boy's parents. So Jenny pretended to be a mystery man to blackmail Jack. She lured Jack to the hotel and persuaded him to turn himself in together. Jack was very angry when he found out. He brutally killed Jenny. The incident happened suddenly, but commotion in the room alerted the guests. So the scene was made into a secret room murder. Then he hit the mirror hard. After deducing all the facts, Annie promised Jack that she'd get him off the hook. Then she said she needed to get some air. Jack made a phone call to his subordinate. He said he was happy with the lawyer he'd gotten. Then there was a radio interference. He opened the leaking pen and looked inside. It was bugged. He looked through the lawyer's file. He found that it was all white paper. Jack looks across the room. Annie looked at him, slowly tore off the mask of human skin. So Annie is the boy's mother. This is all a setup. And just now all the conversation was recorded by the uncle. At that moment the timer of 3 hours was zeroed. There was a knock at the door. It turned out that the real lawyer was the one who appeared at that moment.